factory incentives on a monthly basis can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anywhere from maybe $50,000 for a smaller dealership to a couple $100,000, $250,000 in money that they'll collect from the manufacturer if they hit their bonus, if they hit their objective. So if they're one car away from their objective, I don't know, would you take a pretty short deal in order to collect $200,000? I remember one of our sales managers at one of our stores, and the owner said, well, you lost $2,500 on this car. And the sales manager looked at him. He says, I thought you'd want me to do that because we picked up $155,000 for having done so. He says, I like the way you were thinking. When it comes to sales volume objectives that the manufacturer gives you for a month, and let's say if you hit 100 to 105% of your objective, they pay you $1,000 a car. If you hit 110 to 120% of your objective, maybe at that point they pay you $1,250 a car. If you hit 125% of your objective and above, that might go to $2,000 a car. So that's the other problem with the stair steps, because then it really becomes you're just chasing numbers. Because if you're going to pick up, by hitting 125% of the objective, if you're going to pick up an extra $1,000 per car for every car that you had sold, that could add up to a lot of money in a hurry. I mean, if your objective was 100 cars, and you were going to get $1,000 per car for hitting 100 cars, and you were going to get $2,000 per car for hitting 125 cars, which would be 125%. Well, what are you going to do to hit that extra 25 cars? You're going from $125,000 or $100,000 in bonus money from the manufacturer to $250,000. Does it become economically viable for you to really take a lot of short deals in order to get that? Does it really rob the brand of its cachet and value? Yeah, it really does. I would do it. I hated doing it, but are you going to leave? Would you invest $2,500 to get back $50,000? Well, the answer to that is, well, yeah, of course I would. So then how could I legitimately, if I'm the steward of the business for the owner, not take a $2,500 loss to get us that $50,000? You got to do what's right. Now, here's the dilemma with that, and you don't realize it at the time you're buying your car, but when manufacturers place incentives like that on cars, the volume incentives for dealers to hit, it cheapens the brand. Okay? You take a brand like BMW that everybody thinks is a highline car, and it is, and they think it's a luxury car, and it is. But you cheapen the brand when you say to the dealer, here's where you're going to make your money. The money is going to come from us, not from your customer. So if the list price of the car is $80,000 and you have to sell it for $65,000, that's what you're going to do, because we want you to hit volume objectives. And, well, all of a sudden that $80,000 car really isn't an $80,000 car. So when the person goes to get rid of it, they're going to be shocked at how much the value dropped on their car in such a short period of time. So that's what's wrong with stair-step objectives that manufacturers give you, or even just regular sales volume objectives. They force the dealer to sell cars for a lower price, which ultimately impacts the residual values and the retail values of them as pre-owned cars. That money's coming right out of the customer's pocket. They're thinking to themselves, well, I bought an $80,000 car. I bought it for $65,000, but I bought an $80,000 car. And then 2 years from now, when they want to trade it in, and the dealer offers them $40,000 for it, they're going to go, but it was an $80,000 car. But no, you only paid $65,000 for that $80,000 car, and a car is going to lose 20 to 25% of its value the minute you drive it off the lot. Well, that's $16,000 right there. The minute you drove off the lot, that $65,000, that $80,000 car had a wholesale value of $49,000 the minute you drove it off the lot, because of incentives and everything else that allowed the dealer to sell it at that price. So no, it cheapens the car. It crushes everybody. It crushes the cachet of the brand. It crushes the customer when they find out what the car's worth in 2 years or 3 years' time. I mean, you think of cars like 7 Series BMWs that people are paying $120,000 for, and that 5 years from now, you could walk in and buy one for $20,000. Buy that same car for $20,000. They just lost $100,000 in 5 years. That crushes the customer. It crushes how people view the brand. And there are some dealers that actually understand that what the manufacturers are doing hurt the brand, hurt brand loyalty, hurt brand values, wholesale and retail. And, manufacturers really should figure out a different way. If the manufacturer expects you to sell an $80,000 car for $65,000, why don't they just price it at $65,000 and nobody discounts them? If that's all that $80,000 car is worth. If you find this stuff interesting, and God forbid, I don't know why you would, but just in case you did, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to Your Auto Advocate, because you know why? We're here for you.